It's day 12 at the ongoing 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. So we welcome you to our preview of the Ghana game, Group H game between the Black Stars of Ghana and Uruguay. It's going to be massive, it's going to be explosive. So our prayer, our wish is that it will not be, the tension will not be as palpable as it was in the 9 minutes of that 3-2 win over South Korea for the Black Stars. Once again, I welcome you wherever you're joining us from around the world. My name is Olafemi Ashelo, of course, James Agberebi and Kyle Ogundare, they join me via video. Guys, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Femi. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Femi, to be here.
All right, so quickly, of course, that game will be taking place at the over 44,000 Al Janoub Stadium. And of course, a German referee has been appointed for that game because that is also crucial because, of course, we are still reeling from that terrible officiating in Ghana's 3-2 defeat to Portugal in the opening game. Guys, let's get started. So much to talk about. And Otto Addo, of course, has been speaking ahead of this game. And James, I'll start with you. Remember, we can't separate this game from what happened in 2010 in that quarterfinal, because even though a lot of people have said it shouldn't be about revenge. But if you look at this squad, this Ghana squad, very, very young squad, most of them, majority of them were not in. Only Andrayo, the captain, was in the 2010 squad. And of course, he didn't play that game because of a card accumulation. Now, how do you think this team can separate what is at hand, the task at hand, from the mindset of seeking revenge against Uruguay?
Well, it's very important that they don't attach do a kind of a carryover from 2010 to this game. This is a very dicey, very crucial game for them. We know what's at stake, qualification to the round of 16. And this is one game that a lot of people have been waiting for. And going to that game, going to be pressure on both sides. But the good thing is that the Black Stars, they have their destiny in their hands. They're not going to focus on the other game between Portugal and South Korea. Their own task is to just play that game and win. If you can't win, don't lose it. It's Uruguay that have everything to play for. They must come all out and win because they have just 1 point. You know, so we're hearing about people talking about revenge, that Ghana must avenge what happened in 2010. I think that would be a very bad mindset heading this game because, just like what you said, the only player the survival member of that squad is Dede Ayew. He didn't get to play in that game, but he saw exactly what happened. You know, I think about 1982 when Germany played against then West Germany when they played against France. Remember the semi-final when West Germany came from 3-1 down to beat France. You remember the collision? How did you be able to remember this game? Sure. When Schumacher, deliberately injured the Battiston, the French player. Then it was playing for the French team when they lost. They lost that penalty. Then they met again in the semi-final in 1986. The Germans still won again. That's why they went to the game thinking of revenge. So sometimes, no matter you feel like you want to revenge, but the other team, they know the kind of mindset you are coming with. So the Uruguayans, the typical South America, they will get into your head. They will do everything. They will play you dirty. They will do everything. They will go after the referee, everything. So the Black Stars must be ready for all this. The most important thing is for them to keep a calm head. Don't rush. Don't get into rash tackles. Don't start attracting unnecessary cards. Don't just go dirty like that with them. But just try and manage yourself. But don't play dirty. Doesn't mean if you just allow them to roll over you, so you have to be ready for every antics that you come with. If you have the chance, you can start time wasting. You can start, play the thing against them. Yeah, this is give and take, but you have to be smart about it. You just have to be smart about it. Don't allow them to score before you, because these guys, even if they score from the very first minute, they can defend with their life to the last minute. Even though they're going to give them additional 20 minutes, they're going to defend all out. I know what that means, because they know that the Black Stars will be under pressure. So they must not in any way put themselves in any tight corner that will involve crisis and problems. Because these guys, they are ready for anything. They are going to go dirty. They're going to do anything because they want to qualify. So everybody has been speaking. So it's just to get into the heads of the Black Stars. Like I said, they should just try and be calm. And I believe with what we've seen so far, they're going to make it.
Okay, Kayode, we've seen a number of upsets in this tournament, and we are not concerned really about South Korea and Portugal, but we believe that anything is possible because the South Koreans, I think they also have a point. If they eventually beat Portugal, they will have 4 points. We can't say we saw Tunisia beat France yesterday. We've seen Morocco beat Uruguay, Belgium, I beg your pardon. And we also saw what Saudi Arabia did to Argentina. But Otto Addo has been speaking a lot ahead of this game. And quickly, I'll read out a quote in an interview he had with the GFA on YouTube. He said, "We want to win. And if it's a draw, it is also good for us." He said, "We are not thinking about revenge." That means it's going totally different from what a lot of ex-internationals in Ghana are currently saying. He said, "I was sad when I watched the game in 2010, but now it's a different match, different approach. For me, it is not revenge." He said, "I'm not the kind of person who seeks revenge. It is just a normal match. If you don't seek revenge, sometimes you get more blessings from God." We said we'll do our best to win the match. We are confident enough to know that we can beat them. Kayode, let's talk about the win over South Korea, because he also said that. He said it has helped the confidence in the team. But how much of a boost do you think it will be for the guys going into this final Group H game, very crucial game against Uruguay?
Because of the dramatic nature of that win, I tell you, I have a Ghanaian friend who practically died and woke up again because of the game. And she told me she would never want to witness such a scene again. And for her sake, because she was actually very, very shaken. I hope the Black Stars will not have to take us through
that route again.
Yeah, that route. But then this is football, Femi. If they have to go through that route in order to get the second round ticket, Femi, so be it. So be it. All we want is for them to get that ticket. Whatever it's going to take, like James said, they are playing the typical South American side, and for those who know South Americans, Femi, you know how they play dirty. So you should be ready to get into the gutter with them, play them dirty, and win ugly. That is one. Two, yeah, Ghana will go through on the back of a draw, but they should play for a win. Like they say, if you aim for the moon and you don't get it, the worst you can do is fall among the stars, which is not a bad place to be. So if they have to draw eventually, but if they aim to win and eventually they get a draw, that would be perfect. Femi, let nobody kid you. And at times like this, I can't remember whether in that 21-man list of the backroom staff that we saw before the World Cup, whether there's a psychologist or not. There's a reason why in sports science there is always a psychologist attached to the team. It is for moments like this, Femi. The player's mind must be cleaned. That this is not about revenge. Most like the very good example that James gave. Most times you say you want to revenge. God, nature, let me not bring God into this. Nature has a way of shutting you up. That maybe you say you want to revenge. Okay, let this person win again. What would you do? And the mind games have started already. We've been hearing the statements by Suarez and the rest, try to wind Ghana up, wanting to provoke a reaction from you. And when you react in anger, Femi, you don't see clearly. The Black Stars must approach this game with a clear eye and a clear mind. They are going there for one purpose alone. In the duration of that 90 minutes plus time added on, they want to emerge the victor. There's nothing that I've seen the Uruguayans over two games. There's nothing that says this Ghana side cannot go for a win and win it. Do not approach that game like the underdog. It's very, very, maybe this is psychological warfare now. It's very, very important. Do not show fear. The moment you show fear, then the Uruguayans will think they have gotten at you. Number one, don't show fear. Don't show too much respect. Respect every opposition, Femi, but don't show too much respect. Then don't allow them to provoke you into getting unnecessary cards, because that will be their game plan. You know, Suarez, if you as much as touch him like this, it will fall down as if a 1,000 bullets had hit him. All of this is avoided.
You're cracking me. You're cracking me.
The South Americans can be very, very devilish. Very, very
You're cracking me up.
They will throw the kitchen sink at you, Femi. This I want the Ghanaians to be prepared for. That whatever happens, no matter how much provocation you throw at us, we're not going to bite it. We just want to come here, play our game, win. If we have to win ugly, we're going to win ugly. We're going to play dirty and win ugly. For me, I think that's the most important thing.
Okay, Kayode, you really catch me up with that. Sorry.
That's how I feel.
Okay, James, let's talk about goal scoring. The Uruguayans are here to score in this tournament after 2 games. And for Ghana, we've had 4 different goal scorers. Do you think that is some hedge, at least some advantage for the Black Stars? Because we had Andrea, who scored the first goal. Then we also had Usman Bukari. Then we also had Salisu Mohammed. Then, of course, the star of that win over South Korea, I'm talking about Mohamed Kudus. Do you think it will give the Black Stars some edge? Because if you look at the attacking lineup of the Uruguayans, you have Luis Suarez, you have Edison Cavani. None of them, even this Liverpool man, what's his name now? It escaped me. The new signing. None of them. Yeah, Darwin Núñez. Thank you. Yeah, Darwin Núñez. None of them have been firing. Do you think it will be some advantage for the Black Stars tomorrow?
No, not at all. One about teams like Uruguay with experience, because they've been scoring before doesn't mean if the opportunity comes, they will not take it. These guys, they've been in this business for a long time. So their kickoff might start, God forbid, their kickoff might start against Ghana. It doesn't take anything away from them. I'm telling you.
I think we also have Godin. Diego Godin is very good in the air. I think they should also be wary. The Black Stars needs to be wary of him.
One thing about big teams is once they get going, they get going. That's just it. Italy has shown us before. They are very bad starters in major tournaments. I remember in 1982. They drew all their Kayode will remember all this. They drew all their games. But when they got to the crucial second round, the 3 points took them to the next round, and it was all the way for Italy. So all these guys, because they've not been scoring, doesn't mean they've lost their head. They are too experienced for that. All they need to do is to just sit down and come up with the right strategy. And I hope the Ghanaian defense will be ready for that, because these guys, they are world-class players. They can start striking from any angle, because they've been in this business for a long time. They've won major titles. They know what it takes to play in pressure games, so this one is not going to be a new thing for them. So the most important thing is for the likes of Daniel Lamati, Mohamed Salisu, if Juku is going to play, Baba Rahman, if Tariq Lamptey will start, they must be ready for war. Don't be deceived that these guys have not scored any goal. It doesn't mean anything to them. The most important thing is they have 1 point which they can hold on to. All they need is just to win, and they know how to go about it. We've been saying it. They know how to go about this thing. They've been. This is not the first time they're playing that they played in 2010. They've been called, and they've won the Copa America too. So they've seen it all. So you just have to be careful with it. These guys are dangerous.
Okay.
They have age, fine, but the experience is still there. They know what. Even they score just one, they just need to win. That's just it for them. So I just pray that the Black Star defenders, they just be up in game. The midfielders, everybody must be compact and be ready for war. That's just it.
Okay. Kayode, please don't crack me up this time. I'll refer you back to the statement that has been credited to Luis Suarez. And I read, he said, "We have beaten Ghana before. We will beat them again. We can't leave Qatar without winning a single match." Kayode, is this mind game?
It is playing the mind game for me, and they are very good at this. Why would you pick on Ghana if you couldn't break down South Korea? Why would you pick on Ghana that it is against Ghana that you want to get your first win? Because they know how crucial this game is for me. He's saying that deliberately. Suarez is a professional player. He knows the downside of that statement. He's just trying to take a gamble in the hope that it will get at his target audience. That if it says this thing over and over again, the Ghanaians will get unsettled, and then they will play into their own hands. Femi, this is the kind of mind games I'm talking about earlier, and I think the Ghanaians need to psych themselves up. If there's a professional psychologist in the camp, he should be working overtime on the Ghanaian players, working on their mind that, you know what, forget whatever he has said, lock your minds off, play your game. Femi, if I were Otoado, apart from psyching up the players, which he has to undo, since I'm not sure whether there's a psychologist or not, then he has to worry about his defensive setup, which has considered 5 goals in 2 games. I know probably you are going to get there. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of you.
Of course, certainly.
Everything ties together. You have to look at how did the 5 goals come about. If you, apart from the penalty, which I still contend wasn't a penalty for me, and I will say this until the end of time that I do not agree that that was a penalty. Apart from that, the game against South Korea, there were 2 pullouts from the left flank. The game against Portugal, apart from the Ronaldo goal, Felix scored from the left flank through pass that went through the left flank, and then what's his name? The other guy, Leo too got the ball and scored. So where the problem comes is in the fullbacks. Femi, we have seen that it is through the fullback, and you know why? Because the fullbacks are very, very mobile. It's a two-way. You know what I always say about when you play when you play wing backs as fullbacks, you have a 3-man defense, and you now have fullbacks on the right and left bumping forward. The problem is their recovery could be suspect, and when that happens, it could lead to a backlash from the opposition. That's what has happened so far, and this is where we have to be very careful. If the Uruguayan coach wants to throw the sink at Ghana, he could play like he tried to do against Portugal. He could start what's the guy? The former Man United striker, Cavani. He could start the Cavani with Nunes. These are big-bodied players. These are players who are very good in the air. These are players who are very, very devilish, who can get at you at any air. And if he wants a touch of drama, he could bring in Suarez at any point in the game. So Otuado must be prepared for all of these eventualities. How do you do it? You have to sacrifice one thing, Femi. It's either you play a traditional 4-man back defense, or if you're going to play 3-man defense, then you know that your wing backs, that's the 2 and 3 now, would have a limit to where how far they can go up front. If you tell them the midway line is your limit, don't go beyond that before you run back. It's not a very easy job for me to do. I mustn't deceive you. If you're playing as a wing back, what you need speed because you have to recover more than you attack. So that has been the problem I have seen in this team, Femi. The recovery of the wing backs. That's what has accounted for 4 of the 5 goals now. And I think Otuado is thinking the way I'm thinking, or even thinking better than I am, because he's the one who is getting the paycheck at the end of the month, Femi. I hope he's thinking, he's thinking better than I am, and he learns to plug this defensive hole so that because it's a thing to worry about. You've scored 5 goals, but then you have also considered 5, which is something to be worried about. So I hope we are able to plug this and get a good result at the end of the day.
Okay, Kayode, before I go to James, let's quickly talk about the new maybe adjustment that FIFA has made to the tie break, so that our fans who, of course, they will be abreast of some of this things, so that when it happens, hopefully the Black Stars will not need it tomorrow, but just to inform and maybe perhaps educate our fans about the new adjustment made to tie break by FIFA at the ongoing World Cup in Qatar.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, that's a very, very important one that I think everybody should know about, because as it stands now, Ghana are on 3 points, South Korea on 1, Uruguay are on 1. Safely, we can say Portugal is out of the mix because they have 6 points. They are
qualified, yeah.
Although we want to know whether they are going to top the group or not, and that could depend on a lot of things. You could think, after all, they beat Ghana, even if they lose to South Korea and Ghana beats Uruguay, that they should still be top. No, the way we break the tie, according to the regulations for the 2022 World Cup, according to FIFA, is that if 2 or more teams finish on the same number of points, which is possible if Ghana wins and Portugal loses, that means they will finish on 6 points each. Or if Ghana draw and Portugal loses to South Korea, that means Ghana and South Korea will be finishing on 4 points each. So what happens in that kind of scenario? That you look at the goal difference in all group games. As it stands now, Ghana have 0 goal difference. They've scored 5 and conceded 5. So whoever is going to play against the Portuguese now, if they tie with the Portuguese, then that means Portugal will go ahead of them on goal difference. As it is now, if the South Koreans win, depending on the margin, and Ghana goes ahead to draw this game, that means they will remain on their 0 goal difference. Depending on how many goals South Korea wins by, already they have a deficit of -1. So they have to level that up. And so you go to goal difference in all group matches. If they are still tied after that, you go to the number of goals scored in all group matches. In this place, Ghana has scored 5. South Korea, I think they scored 2. And Portugal, they scored 3 against Ghana and scored 2 against Uruguay. So they are safely ahead of Ghana. But if it's Ghana and South Korea, Ghana are safe in that situation. If they are still tied after taking the number of goals scored in all groups, then you now look at the points obtained in the matches played between the two teams. In this case, Portugal defeated Ghana. That means Portugal, if they tie, Portugal will be ahead of Ghana. Now, if you look at Ghana against South Korea, Ghana defeated South Korea, so that means Ghana will be ahead of South Korea. Then, if they are still tied, according to these rules, because FIFA tries to look at all possibilities, then you go to the goal difference in the matches played between the teams in question. Again, Portugal are ahead of Ghana, Ghana are ahead of South Korea. Then, if that still does not break the tie, you now look at the number of goals scored in the match. You now look at number of goals scored in the matches played between the teams in question. I said Portugal ahead, Ghana ahead of South Korea. Then, if that does still not break them again, you look at the fair play points in all group matches. And this is where it gets very, very interesting for me. That's where the number of yellow cards that you get and the red cards that you get will come back to bite you in the ass. So for every yellow card that your team gets, you are deducted 1 point. Every indirect red card, that second yellow card, you get -3 points. Every direct red card, you get -4 points. And every yellow card and direct red card, you get -5 points. Then when you calculate how many cards you have, the other team will calculate their own cards, and you now decide, oh, this team is ahead. And this has happened before. We saw it in 2018 when Senegal were eliminated by Japan. They tied on all indices, and they had to use the cards to eliminate Senegal. That's why it's better to be careful. Do not get any unnecessary cards because it might come back to haunt you. Yet, even for me, if they are still tied after this point, FIFA says there should be a toss of the coin, head or tails. Who goes? That's what will now finally determine who goes through. So, and in this case, we have also seen it before. It has happened to the Nigerian under-17 team that was coached by what's his name now? Augustine Guavon. Yeah, they got knocked out by Costa Rica in 2003. They threw the toss of coin. So these are, I hope the producer will we'll put this on the screen so that other the viewers will see it and know what is at stake. That we do not hope to get through all of this, Femi. All we just need is for Ghana to qualify, win their game. Let's go and rest until the second round of games starts. Nobody prays to go through all of these steps to break a tie. So I think that's important for the fans to know.
Okay, thank you, Kayode, for it. It's a long process, but thank you. You really put us through. You really took us through very nicely. James, the producer said we have to leave the studio, but quickly, just in 30 seconds, we saw how in the 2 games against Portugal and South Korea, we saw how the midfield, the black side, the midfield crumbled and, you remember, led to goals. What do you think Ado should do in order to plug some of these holes so that, because I'm very certain that Uruguay will look at some of these weaknesses in the team and try to exploit them. But what do you think Otto Ado can do in order to ensure that the Uruguayans will not be able to exploit some of these things to their advantage tomorrow?
Yeah, just to become nothing more, just become a bit better this time, because you'll be expecting because they're going to be overworked. So they should be. I love the approach they did against Portugal in the first half, in their first game. So we saw how how compact they were, how neatly, how tight they were until when they scored and just lost focus. So they must be compact. They must not lose concentration. They must be focused. If a necessary foul is needed, they must commit that foul, but they must not be too close to the 18 where they start giving away necessary set pieces. So that midfield, it must be compact. They know that it's going to be war. So I expect Otuado to work on it because it's very crucial. The attack, it depends on whether the attack will score goals, and it will now depend on the kind of work the defense go through. So everything boils down to the midfield. So I believe with the likes of Partey and the rest, I believe they are experienced enough to know that the game that they must be very compact. So I believe I'm rooting for them that they're going to do a good job.
Okay, Kayode, before I put you guys on the hot seat to maybe of course to talk about the outcome of tomorrow's games, let's talk about very quickly in 30 seconds. We saw you rightly mentioned that Rafael came in and used that right wing to get Portugal's third goal, and of course we also saw how prone that side was against South Korea and the Koreans. We saw how they explored that place. Would you still expect Tariq Lamptey to start, or we should have someone like Dennis Odoi coming into the fray?
To be fair to Tariq, it is not about the player who is there. It is about the responsibilities that you have. And the responsibility was for him to bump forward. So if he does what the coach has said, we cannot now blame him for the repercussions of that action. It could have happened to anybody. It depends on the instructions from the coach. It's either you stay and find another way, or you use the wing backs as your outlet for your pressure points. Whatever they decide, Femi, the coach knows what he wants as a person. But like I said, they should just have positional awareness. That is what has been lacking in the defense, in the wing backs. Every point in time, you know where you are in relation to where the opposition is. You know that where I'm standing now, without turning to look behind me, where do I think this player is going to be? It should be like 10 meters away. It should be like 20 meters away. And before the ball comes, you are quickly able to cut out the danger. This would be very, very important. Positional awareness is key for me. Don't be caught napping. Don't let anybody get into your head, and don't let them get behind you, because I see a lot of this going to happen. You will see a lot of balls across into the box. They see that this is a frailty, this is a weakness of the Ghanaian defense, and you will see a lot of that, because let me not kid you, they would have dissected Ghana like nobody else have. Because they have the opportunity, they have 2 games to watch now, unlike the Portuguese who didn't have one. They like South Korea who had only one. Now they have 2 games. Over 2 games, they will be able to analyze Ghana. The same way, it's an equal opportunity, something. The same way Ghana will have 2 games to also analyze them. Now, depending on what you take away from those analyses, but like I said, I'm very, very positive. I'm upbeat about this, and I hope that at the end of the game, we'll have this feeling of joy that Ghana would have joined other African teams in the next round.
Okay, I just hope the producer will not find me, but I think we need to talk about it. I saw in the comment section some of our viewers were saying that they've not been seeing much of Thomas Partey. James, quickly, I want you to put us through. What do you think Partey has been doing in this? He's been doing the yeoman's job, because in that kind of a role, it will be difficult for you to see what he does, but actually he does massive job in that midfield. Quickly, in 30 seconds.
I think maybe the fans, what they feel is they are looking at Partey that used to pass now, the one that has been scoring the screamers, but they don't know that this is work. Partey is working overtime in the World Cup, so he has to bring his wealth of experience in the side. That's why I've not been seeing much of him. He's trying to keep the side compact, neat. It has not been easy, but we are confident that we're going to do the best of it come Friday.
Femi, quickly. Okay. So quickly, Femi, the kind of job Thomas Partey does, you only see when he's not on the pitch. That's when you feel his absence. I pray we don't get to that point. Be careful what you wish for. That Thomas Partey has been doing very, very well in that role. And the fact that we have not noticed him is because he's doing his job. If you notice that he's here, that means something is wrong. He's supposed to be working behind the lines, quietly putting out fires. That's the phrase I was looking for. He's quietly putting out fires all over the pitch, and that is his duty. He's not playing a flashy football. You might not see him the way you see him in Arsenal, because now he has much more responsibilities now than he does at Arsenal. And like I said, I pray those fans don't get to see him, because if they get to see him on the pitch, that means it's trouble.
All right. Okay. Who goes first? Prediction for tomorrow. See, the two games Ghana has played, you guys have failed to get the scoreline correctly. James, I'll go with you first. Tomorrow, Uruguay, Ghana.
I will go 2-2 scoreline. This game can end in a draw. I will go the 2-2 score enough for Ghana. I'm so confident Portugal beats Saudi Arabia, because Portuguese will not to finish on. We want to avoid big boys now. That will make them go all out to get the victory win or even a draw. They also leadership. So I believe a 2-2 draw in this game against between Ghana and Uruguay. Sorry.
Okay, Kayode, I know you are very clever and you've seen the crystal ball. What is he saying this time?
Femi, I see Ghanaians, I see Africans rejoicing at the end of the game. That's what I see.
Okay, but I see.
And that's the most important thing. Femi, that's the most important thing. Regardless of what the scoreline is, the most important thing is for us to also come back to the studio and be happy with ourselves and with Ghana and with Africa. So that's what I want. I don't want to get into predicting scorelines for this game, because I'm so tensed up. Maybe I don't want to. I'm not sure I will be able to breathe for 90 minutes.
I see a 2-0 victory for Ghana. Our producer, what's your okay? The producer said he's not seeing anything at the moment, but I see a 2-0. It's as tense as Kayode right now, but I see a 2-0 victory for the Black Stars. Guys, thank you for coming. Yeah, I see a 2-0 victory for Ghana.
You're a very brave man.
Yeah. So if he gets to a worse result, like I'll eventually go with James. We get the 2-2 and we'll qualify. That's it. I'll take the easy route. Okay, guys, thank you for coming on this preview of that game tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Femi.
Okay, so that game will be all right. Okay, James, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us about video, guys. Tomorrow So, guys, that game will be taking place tomorrow at the Al Janoub Stadium. We wish the Black Stars all the best. Like I already said, we hope that when we come around into the studio to do a review of that game, it will all be smiles like we had on our faces after the victory over South Korea. So until tomorrow, of course, we'll be coming to you in the morning for yesterday at the World Cup. Then later after the game, we'll be coming around for a review of that game. We hope that it's going to be another African country making it into the knockout stage. So until we come your way tomorrow, I remain Oluwafemi Ashaolu. Have fun and bye for now.